Hello and welcome to the next episode of Into the Composer's Mind. My name is Byron Herman and I am chronicling the composition process for my latest and most recent composition. Kind of has a working title now called Remembrance. For those who have been following this YouTube video, we need to thank the Canada Council for their support of this project. So it's been another busy day, busy night in the composition process. I've gone into the phase which I call build the prototype. Now, building the prototype is where you can start to assemble the different pieces that you've created so far and see how it all fits together. And if the general process and product is what you were looking for. So having completed the initial score for part one, the concept for part two, and the score for part three, and for the coda, able to put all of those pieces together into one longer composition. It's kind of like if you're in engineering or if you're in some other kind of creative process, could be writing, could be painting, could be computer programming, could be math, could be any domain where creativity is an important factor, where you've got some ideas and you got all the pieces, and I put all the pieces together and to see if what you want is actually what you envisioned. And that process is usually quite exciting. You get a global concept for the piece. So my initial reaction to the putting this all together was, yeah, I think we're getting pretty close to creating the emotion and the feel and the form and the structure that I was looking for in the first place. But if you kind of remember back to one of the earlier episodes, I said, well, this is going to be a 5-minute piece. Well, because of the nature of the growth of this concept and the growth of the material that needs to be put into it to create the effect I want, we're about up to I think about 14 minutes. So I'm going to have to take a look at that and see what a good length for this particular piece will be. So that's one of the things that you see when you put your prototype together. Does it actually work? And yes, it's going to work, but it's going to need some revisions from the initial plan. So the other process that I talk about, the other cognitive process that's really important in any creative activity, in composition as well, is what I call the revision stage. And this is quite often where the most difficult cognitive work takes place. A lot of people at this point in the project have figured out, oh yeah, I've got what I want, it's all working, let's just get on with it, get the product out there, and it should be fine. Kind of stepping over the fine tuning, the revisions that take something from being just another creation to perhaps, I'm not going to say a masterpiece, but certainly eventually to another creative level where you are really happy with what the product is. So that revision stage is difficult, and a really important part of that revision stage, speaking from a metacognitive point of view, some of the overriding activity that your brain does when it's looking at this sort of thing. That is revision and evaluation. Can you take a look at what you originally wanted, evaluate then what you created so far, and do an evaluation? And that process I've labeled what I call the compare, diagnose, and operate model. The CDO model says, okay, this is what I had in mind, this is what I've created so far, let's compare, let's diagnose what's happened so far, and then operate. Let's make some changes, let's make some revisions and see what will make that work better. So that's the phase we're at right now, the evaluation stage, and the compare, diagnose, and operate cognitive model for revision. And of course, that process is something that all creative people have gone through and continue to go through in whatever domain there is. You may remember, or at least I remember from the past, the old computer programming where you had these stacks and stacks of punch cards, and you punched it all in, send it into the VAX 750, and it would churn away and print out a bunch of paper, and then it would tell you, I'm sorry, what you wanted to do, you can't do. You know, programming in the old languages, Fortran being one of them. And of course, in the music domain, you'd do all this programming, and you'd send it off to the computer, and in the early stages of synthesis, and you come back, and the computer sound would be I said, oh, that's not what I wanted. So you have to go back and revise your big stack of cards. Well, fortunately, we don't have to do all that so much anymore in the revision stage. Last night, I was able to get some of the recording done of the initial project done remotely in Ontario by some of the performers, and that provides important feedback. What works? What did you want me to do? How can I do it? Slight adjustments to the tempo, slight adjustments to articulations and phrasing, timbres. So those are the sort of things that are happening at this stage in the project as we try to create now the finished product, which will go through these multiple revisions. So it's important to understand this, the evaluation process that's taking place right now, where you compare what you wanted with what you have right now in a larger context, having finished the composition prototype, as I call it, and make that comparison, do a diagnosis, what worked, what didn't work, how can we evaluate that, and then go on and operate, make some changes, and I'll be presenting more of that material to you in the near future. So thank you for listening, and I will keep you up to date on how that revision process is going. And once again, feel free to subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so already, and to like it, make some comments, they're always welcome, and as you continue this journey with me into the composer's mind.